It started like any other interview on CBS this morning. Bright studio lights, soft armchairs, a cup of coffee on the table between them. Gayle King, in her custom-made suit, sat across from Johnny Depp, her smile as warm as the morning sun, but her eyes as sharp as a blade. Depp, in a black shirt with an open collar, leaned back in his chair, his hair slightly tousled, as if he had just woken up after a long night. He held a glass of water, his fingers playing with the rim, searching for a rhythm. The atmosphere was familiar, another guest, another conversation about Hollywood, about his career. But no one could have imagined that in a few minutes, the biggest scandal of the year would unfold here. Gayle leaned forward, her mic still clipped on, though the broadcast had ended 5 minutes ago. Cameras off, but the studio wasn't empty. Assistants shuffled backstage, a producer watched from the monitor. "Johnny, thanks for staying a moment. That was a powerful interview. You spoke about pirates with such passion." Depp nodded, his smile slow, like a sip of wine. "Passion's all I've got left, Gayle. Without it, I wouldn't survive." She laughed softly, but her eyes didn't. "You've survived a lot. Hollywood's a tough place. People say you've become a symbol of resilience." His fingers tightened on the glass. "Symbol? Interesting word. Symbols don't bleed." The studio lights seemed brighter, as if someone had cranked the dial. Gayle picked up her coffee, took a sip, like she was gathering strength. "Let's talk off air. You mentioned the trial. Did it change you?" Depp looked at her, his eyes dark as an ocean before a storm. "Changed? It tore me apart and pieced me back together. But not the same." She set the mug down, the sound soft but sharp in the silence. "A lot of people say the truth came out. Do you feel vindicated?" He leaned back, crossing his legs. "Truth's a slippery thing. Like an eel. But yeah, I'm still standing." An assistant passed by, carrying cables, but no one interrupted. The studio breathed, its walls gleaming under the lights. Gayle adjusted her hair, the gesture calm, controlled. "You've always been an actor. Was there ever a temptation to play a role in all this?" Depp raised an eyebrow, his smile flickering out for a moment. "Play? That was realer than any script. People think I hide behind masks. But masks are what others wear." She nodded, as if agreeing, but her tone shifted, softer, closer. "I get it. I've interviewed plenty who've been through hell. R. Kelly, for instance. He talked about truth too." His jaw clenched, barely noticeable. "A comparison? Interesting. I'm not a singer, Gayle." "No, but you're both public figures. Power, attention, loss." Depp took a sip of water, the glass trembling slightly in his hand. "Power? I never had it. Just the illusion." Silence for a beat. The camera, though off, seemed to watch, its lens a cold eye. Gayle leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "Let's be real. Your marriage, the scandals, it's part of your image now. Any regrets?" He set the glass down, the sound louder than it should have been. "Regrets? Every day. But not about the truth." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Truth is what we show the world. Or what we hide." Depp looked straight at her, his gaze piercing. "You asking as a journalist or as Oprah's friend?" Pause. She didn't look away. "As someone who sees through the facade." He laughed, a dry sound, like a snapping twig. "Facade? Mine cracked a long time ago. Yours is still intact." Assistants froze backstage, the producer looked up. The air shifted, heavier, like before a storm. Gayle picked up her notes, flipped a page, the gesture routine but slow. "You talked about your childhood in the interview. Poverty, moving around. That shaped you?" Depp nodded, his fingers drumming on the armrest. "Yeah. Made me who I am. I don't trust stability." "Did Hollywood give you stability?" "Hollywood? It eats stability for breakfast." She laughed, but it was an edge of a cliff laugh. You sound cynical. After everything, that's understandable. His eyes narrowed. Cynical? Realistic. People love a good downfall. Mine's their favorite show. Gayle set her notes down. Folded her hands. Let's talk about Amber. You avoided her name on air. He froze, the glass in his hand trembling. Avoided? No. It's just the past. A past that still hurts? Depp looked away, at the dead camera. Hurts? It cuts. Silence. She waited, not pushing, but her gaze pressed like a weight. He turned back, his voice lower. You want the truth? She used me. Like a ticket to the club. Gayle nodded slowly. A lot of women say otherwise. #MeToo is a movement. His jaw tightened harder. A movement? Sure. But not every story's true. She leaned in, her voice soft but sharp. Are you saying she lied? Depp set the glass down, water spilling a drop onto the table. Saying? The court did that for me. The air tightened, like a guitar string pulled taut. An assistant whispered to the producer, but no one moved. Gayle took a napkin, wiped the drop, the gesture calm. The court is one thing. Public opinion is another. You lost roles, friends. He smiled, but it was bitter. Friends? In Hollywood, friends are like shadows. Gone when the sun dips. And you're the sun? Was. Now I'm an eclipse. She looked at him, her eyes sympathetic but piercing. What do you want the world to know? Depp leaned back, crossed his arms. That I'm not a monster. Just a man who messed up. Silence. The camera, though off, seemed to record. Gayle paused, as if weighing her words. Messed up? How? He looked at her, his voice quieter but tense. In trusting. In loving. In everything. She nodded but didn't look away. Love's a slippery thing, like you said. Depp laughed, but it was hollow. Yeah. You know about that, Gayle? With your perfect life? Her eyebrow twitched, barely. Perfect? Nobody's perfect. He leaned forward, for the first time. Then why are you digging into mine? Pause. The studio crackled with electricity, the lights flickering faintly. Assistants froze, the producer stood. Gayle didn't flinch, her voice steady. Because it's my job. To show the truth. Depp gripped the armrest, knuckles whitening. Truth? Your truth or mine? She smiled thinly. There's only one truth. But different versions. He stared into her eyes, his voice low, like distant thunder. So tell me, Gayle. What's your version? Am I the victim or the villain? Silence. The studio held its breath, the lights sharper, the coffee cold, the water still. Depp didn't look away, his breathing quickening just enough to notice. Gayle opened her mouth, but no words came right away. The air cracked, like glass under pressure, the first fracture, deep, but not yet shattered. Gayle held his gaze, the silence stretching like a taut wire. The producer edged closer to the set, but she raised a subtle hand, signaling to wait. My version, she said, her voice even, measured. I don't have versions, Johnny. I have questions. And the world has them too. Depp's eyes flashed, a storm brewing behind them. He leaned forward again, elbows on his knees, the glass forgotten on the table. Questions? Or accusations dressed as empathy? You sit there, pristine, with your network backing you, and you poke at my scars like they're entertainment. She didn't blink. Scars heal. But only if you face them. You faced courts, headlines. Why not this? He laughed, sharper now, the sound echoing off the studio walls. Face them? I've been facing them for years. Paraded like a freak show. You think I haven't bled enough? The air thickened, the lights buzzing faintly overhead, as if feeding off the tension. An assistant whispered urgently into a headset, but no one moved. Gayle folded her hands tighter, her nails digging into her palms unseen. Bleed? That's dramatic, even for you. But drama's your trade. Is this another performance? Depp's face hardened, his voice dropping to a growl. Performance? You want real? Fine. She lied. Amber twisted everything, our fights, my words, my life, into a weapon. For fame, for sympathy. And people ate it up because it fit the narrative. Bad boy Johnny, the villain in his own story. Gayle tilted her head, her expression unchanging, but her eyes sharpened. Narrative? Whose? Yours or the movement's? Women have been silenced for too long. #MeToo gave them a voice. He slammed a hand on the armrest, the thud reverberating. Voice? She had a megaphone. I was the one gagged, dragged through the mud. Lost my roles, my reputation. Pirates? Gone. Everything I built, poof. Because one person decided to play victim. She leaned in, matching his intensity without raising her voice. Play? That's a strong word. Evidence was presented. Both sides. Depp's breathing quickened, his fingers clenching into fists. Evidence? Doctored photos, selective tapes. She hit me, Gayle. Pushed me. But no one cares because I'm the man. The strong one. Supposed to take it. The studio fell into a hush, the camera's dead lens suddenly alive in the periphery, as if judging. Gayle paused, letting the words hang, then pressed gently. You're saying you were the victim? He nodded fiercely, his voice cracking for the first time. Yes. Damn it, yes. Abused, manipulated. But try saying that in this climate. You're crucified for it. She nodded slowly, her tone softening but probing. Crucified? That's biblical. But truth doesn't need drama. Why not say it earlier, on air? Depp rubbed his face, exhaustion etching lines deeper. Because on air, it's scripted. Safe. Here? It's raw. You pushed me here. Gayle's smile was faint, almost sympathetic. Pushed? Or invited? People need to hear the raw you. Not the pirate, not the actor, the man. He looked up, his eyes raw, vulnerable. The man? He's broken. Addicted once, yeah. Angry, sure. But not a monster. I loved her. Trusted her. And she turned it into a circus. The producer stepped forward now, voice low. Gayle, we should wrap. She waved him off, eyes locked on Depp. A circus? With you as the clown? Depp stood abruptly, the chair scraping back. Clown? No. Survivor. And I'm done performing for you. He turned toward the exit, but paused, glancing back. The lights cast long shadows, the coffee mug a forgotten prop on the table. Gayle rose slowly, her voice steady. Johnny, wait. One more thing. Do you forgive her? He froze, shoulders tense. Silence blanketed the room, thicker than before. Then, quietly, forgive? Maybe. Forget? Never. The door swung open, and he stepped out, the click of his boots fading into the hallway. The producer rushed in, face flushed. What the hell was that? We weren't recording, right? Gayle unclipped her mic, handing it over without a word. The studio lights dimmed slightly, as if exhaling. Assistants buzzed, phones lighting up with notifications. She sat back down, staring at the empty chair, the spilled water drop now evaporated. Outside, Depp lit a cigarette in the alley, the smoke curling like unresolved anger. His phone vibrated agents, publicists, frantic texts. But he ignored them, leaning against the wall, the weight of the confession settling like lead. By evening, clips leaked, someone had recorded off-air audio. Social media erupted. Hashtag Johnny Depp breaks down trended, memes of his clenched jaw circulating. Supporters rallied, finally, the truth. Detractors fired back, still playing the victim card. Amber's camp issued a statement, old narratives die hard. CBS issued an apology for the unplanned extension, but ratings spiked for the replay. Gayle watched from her office, the city lights twinkling below. The interview had cracked open something real, but at what cost? Depp's team threatened lawsuits, but whispers suggested he felt unburdened, if only for a moment. When the lights finally went out in the studio that night, only echoes remained, a man's raw truth, hanging in the air like smoke, unresolved and potent.